Hello and welcome to the final episode of Pals Pulls for 2022.
Okay.
Don't get too crazy
I
now.
got scared.
Yeah,
Life
come on.
would cease to have meaning.
Yes, without Pals Pulls, what do you have?
What would I read?
What would you read? Yes, that's a great question. Because Lord knows we only read what we read for the show.
Mhm.
The gang's all here to close out the year. We got Kale.
What hot dogs?
We got Tyler.
I can go for hot dog. Damn, I'm hungry. Oh, Sean got the bisexual lighting. That's true. Yeah.
Sexual lighting. Who said that?
Bisexual. Let's clarify.
Oh, interesting.
I always have the bisexual lighting in my bedroom. So.
That's interesting. And Marco's here.
What's up?
Yeah, and so am I. And I'm excited to talk about this week's crop of books. Say hello, by the way, as you join us in chat. Love to hear from you guys. We've got Timeless #1, as you all can see.
Huh.
I am holding up the Miss Minutes variant.
Whoa, that's cool.
By Todd Knock. I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's Miss Minutes. I buy. That's all.
That's
Good
fun.
man.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one.
We got Nice House on the Lake, book 12.
The finale.
The finale. Sandman Universe Dead Boy Detectives #1. I went with the
Ooh.
creepiest variant.
Ugh.
Oh,
possible.
that's
yeah.
sick.
That
That's
looks
a
like
real
me
good
before I
one.
started taking Accutane in high school.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Does that really work?
I had real bad back knee as a kid. So. Yeah. Looking like I
And-
was taking steroids without any of the benefits.
But all the downsides.
Yeah, all the downside. All of them, trust me.
Oh yeah. And the listener pick three times. Action Comics. We are reading
Ooh.
number 1050.
That's a good cover. Wait, put that one back up?
Oh yeah.
It's an Alex Ross variant.
I think
Now
so.
listen.
Are they tired
I-
of doing the whole Action Comics 1 homage? Like,
Yeah. No, it's
Of course
good,
not.
dude. It's good.
I almost bought the holographic cover variant.
You're an
I
idiot.
almost did it. I'm an idiot for not buying it.
yeah.
Send the money.
How much?
How much was it?
I think it was $8, $9.
Oh, just ask Bean. Bean's got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Spot you.
Yeah, so those are the books we're going to be reviewing today. Before we get to that, I do want to first make an announcement. So for the show, the main show this Saturday, which you can catch live at 10:15 a.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube, we will be doing our predictions. So the predictions for 2023. We will be talking about the winners and losers of 2022's prediction game. And we'll be doing the Pallies. The 2022 Pallies are doing it all in one shot. So come hang out. It's going to be super fun. Trust me.
Man, I hope I win. I could use a win this year. Come on, let's end it with a W. Let's go.
Listen, you want to know what? I've already done the math. So I know who won.
Okay.
And I am guaranteeing a shock.
It's gonna
That's
be
all I'll
me,
say.
baby. It's
Marco.
gonna be
Yeah,
me.
it's Marco.
I'm guaranteeing a shock.
Okay.
The audience can always tell when we haven't talked about something because when Sean says, I have an announcement to make, all three of our eyebrows lit up.
Yep.
We all like,
Well, we had talked about this. We just
yeah.
didn't talk about announcing it here right now. But yeah, so that's gonna be a blast. I promise. That's a pal's promise. Come hang out for that. There might even be a listener participation section.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
So,
New game, new stuff.
Yes. Big plans.
Yeah, it's always exciting when the guy who does the production behind the scenes is surprised about these things.
Well, don't worry. You'll be okay.
I never worry. We'll be fine.
Yeah.
We just fix it 15 minutes beforehand, like we usually do. There we go.
Exactly. Oh shit! Everything's on. Got 15 minutes. It's okay.
Yeah, we're good.
So yeah, come hang out with us for that. Don't miss this show live though in the new year, 6 p.m. Eastern every single Thursday. Patreon.com/The Comics Pals is the absolute best way to support us. $3 a month gets you access to our Patreon page and our newsletter. And varying tiers give you cooler stuff like our Patreon exclusive show, Palling Around, exclusive except for this month where we did make the best non-comics of 2022 Patreon episode available to you all absolutely free. So give that a listen as a sampler. Check out our Patreon page and let us know what you think. Join our Discord server. Come hang out with us over there. Our next book club is official. It's in stone, as it were, because we recorded the episode. We're doing House and Powers of X.
Let's go.
Yes. So mark your calendars for January 3rd, where we will be putting that out. That should be fun. Our last take on the House and Powers series.
What a way to start the year.
Exactly. Big time. Let's jump into the reviews. Let's get this started. We'll start with Timeless, number 1. This is Rising Star, certainly, I think it's fair to say, Jed MacKay.
Yeah.
With art by Greg Land, Jay Liston, Pat Zurcher, and Salvador LaRocca. What a team.
Oof.
What a team. Colors by Frank Diamarda and letters by Ariana Mayer.
Oof.
What?
Much like Kang himself, the question of where is big here, because where do we begin with this team, Sean?
We begin with the team, I think, by talking about how good Jed MacKay is right now.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is look, Jed MacKay is a name that's not new to me, but a name that I always associated as like this is the one that they grabbed for like the fill-in book or the this or that. Didn't really seem to have much going on that was interesting for me doing the Black Cat, Mary Jane stuff. Don't care about that. But over the last year, Jed MacKay's done some solid stuff. The stuff with Strange J's been great. And then this now. This is
Moon Knight.
I thought
Moon Knight
this
as
was
well.
Yeah. I thought this was quite good, actually.
I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I'm with you, actually. I liked the way this was written. I'm choosing my words here.
I think this was my pick of the week.
What?
Whoa.
I think so.
2022, you picked a Greg Land book as your pick of the week.
I might have. I'm not. The jury's still out, but I really, really like this.
Yo, I know
and maybe I'm biased because I am a big fan of Kang. I really, really, really have always enjoyed Kang. So, that could be a factor, but
I think it's mine. I'm comfortable saying that. It's mine.
What?
there you go.
My pick of the week.
There you go. I'm not crazy.
Wow.
I thought this was strong as hell.
Yeah.
Bonkers.
He's been doing a great job, and I've been to the point where I'm comfortable picking up a book of his by name alone.
Yep.
Creative Team Dependent, and that's pretty big for one of the big two just in general. And this is superhero shit, like a little more over the top and goofy. I think I wasn't as into it, but the potential of MacKay and like what he does from a pacing standpoint, like it has good beats. It's fun. Not my cup of tea.
Interesting. I think for me, it's a pretty normal story. Guy with big powers goes out to find a certain thing and gets stopped by other people. But I think the difference here is one that your protagonist is Kang, whom we don't like. We're not asked to like him. We're not asked to, he's an asshole. He's Kang. A villain, but he's set upon by, this alien King Arthur team or whatever, this alien Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah.
And
New creation for this book, by the way.
Yeah, had to be.
New creation for this purpose. Like,
Yeah.
to face Kang right here.
And each one has their own weird thing. And it's a spin on, the legends and made new for this. I really enjoyed every little twist that McKay put it in this.
To me, I was getting a lot of Hickman Avengers vibes from this like new team of like space. They're described as heroes, but they're villains for our protagonists from our POV, right? Does that make sense?
Antagonists.
Yeah. I thought that was a lot of fun. I think McKay has a great voice for Kang. I like how this book is supposed to be that the appetizer sampler for the Marvel universe going forward, but it is not shoving it down your throat. It doesn't even mention it in the text of the book. It's more like Easter eggs throughout it. I mean, I'm just not a Greg Land guy.
All right, hold on, because I have to say, I'm not saying that I love Greg Land or anything like that. I'm not the biggest Greg Land mark on earth, but I really don't see what the problem was in this book from an art standpoint. I thought every bit of this looked good.
The Greg Land in this book was the best Greg Land I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Greg Land does his best work when he doesn't have to draw very human environments or looking characters. When he can just do stuff where you don't really notice the reference that he's, photo referencing. I think that's when he works best.
There was one Greg Land face I saw, and it's when I think it's when he's first fighting Merlin or whoever it is. There's Kang has a face.
For sure. But I think by and large, this looked really, really good. And I think the colors are doing a lot of lifting here as well.
Yes.
But boy, oh boy, you go to any page, like just look at this. Like how cool is all that stuff, right? Like you got the sword fight there, Kang getting touched by the weird like knockoff Vision guy. that was pretty cool. I really liked it when Kang stabbed this guy with the sword of the Black Knight. That was pretty cool.
So in my head, I always put LaRocca, Patrick Zircher, and Greg Land in the same kind of bucket in terms of art style. Reading this made me realize how accurate that is, because I couldn't tell you where one began and one ended.
Yeah,
you could tell me LaRocca did one page or all of the pages, and I'd be like, yeah, sure.
But that's good, I guess, from an art consistency standpoint.
Sure,
in that case, because I didn't feel that. I didn't necessarily feel the difference, and that helped the story and the narrative. Helps you get to that next section.
Yeah, I agree. So the one negative I kind of had with this was just the fact that they kept peppering in those little like images of what is going to be happening in the future. It's not that I don't want that. I specifically knew that we would be seeing, teases of the future in this book. That's why it exists. And the narrative here is, Kang trying to find this missing moment. That is going to be the through line of Marvel for the next year. And they tell us it's going to continue in Avengers and all that. That's fine. But like showing us images that have nothing to do with anything else of characters and positions that either don't ring any bells at all in terms of like, wow, that's something really wild, or it's just an image with absolutely no context that really doesn't elicit any emotion. It's almost like this didn't need that.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because I viewed it as I didn't even view it as stuff that would be coming up in continuity within like the publishing schedule or the publishing line. I thought this was just, we're just taking random moments from history or random moments from whatever. We can envision something. So to that effect, if that was the communication, what was supposed to be communicated, I don't think it was done well because I didn't realize.
It because I'm always up on like solicits and stuff. Like I could pretty much point out each announcement. Like it's not even that far forward either. It's like to April. You'll get to all these things.
And that's also very annoying. Is that some of it is just like, okay, wow, yeah, Luke Cage is the mayor. That's already a thing now. Yeah, right. Like, what the heck? Namor and Black Panther teaming up? Yeah, that's been in the solicits. We know about that.
That is actively happening in Avengers for the past year. Like,
right. The Animal Avengers having a squad. Wow, does that not happen every year? I could have done without all that.
The most like usually this kind of stuff gets me hyped. I'm like, oh wait, what's happening? Oh, that's exciting. Right. The biggest pop I had in this out of all those teasers was, oh, Lucky got an eye patch. I was like, oh, all right, cool. I guess he has sort of a costume now. There we go.
And they showed the belt, the 777 belt, which is clearly Jackpot. Yeah. But we already know that Mary Jane's going to be Jackpot.
Yeah.
Well, that must have been Jed MacKay being like, I need to pepper in my own thing here.
Yeah.
Promo my own book.
What's so big is the thing. Like that's that took a huge place in that page.
And it already happened.
Yeah.
But that aside, I really thought this was awesome. I liked seeing Kang forced to think through situations, how to beat these people individually, how to outsmart them, how to outsmart their design. I thought that was really, really interesting because we know that Kang can pull a weapon out of anywhere. He's got future tech and all that stuff, but that's not what makes Kang dangerous. What makes Kang dangerous is his indomitable will and his wit and his ability to dismantle entire armies, the geniuses of history, because he has a superior intellect. That's what I want to see. And Jed MacKay literally nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really good to sit in Kang's shoes, those slutty thigh highs for a little bit.
I got a question. What's the physics on Kang's mask?
So I didn't like that.
At one point, he just like Power Rangers it, and like it, like I don't, maybe the reference is wrong here, but like it just like forms on him like digitally, and then there's another scene where he pulls it off like a sock. Like what are we doing here? Which is it?
I really didn't like that. I didn't like seeing him take his clothes off at all. I thought that was weird. Like, why would you just take your clothes off?
He does it a lot
to fight.
Yeah, it's a very Kang thing. It's the Ra's al Ghul style.
Leave that in the past. And yeah, the mask thing was weird too. I actually was like, oh wait, are they retconning him black before he took it off? Because I felt like the face that he has in the first few pages before he takes the mask off, I was like, oh, that reminds me of Jonathan Majors a little bit. Yeah, but then once he takes the mask off, he's just a straight up white dude. I was like, oh, all right.
It's just another Tony Stark. Yeah.
But like, really though, does this face that this panel there, does that look like this guy? Like this is, so just keep that in your mind. Like, does that look like this guy?
No, because it's different people.
To me, no.
Yeah.
Tony Stark and the others Kang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But typical to hide the black guy behind a blue skin, huh? When you don't want to make it.
And then just make him white when you take it off. Have your cake and eat it too, Marvel.
Yeah. Do we think Jed MacKay's taking over Avengers?
Oh,
at this point,
I can see it.
Against it.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
You are against it?
I wouldn't be against it.
Oh yeah, no. That would get me to pick Avengers up and be excited about it.
Same.
I think I've kind of like messed it up for myself because I so want to see Donny Cates take over Avengers that I can't really accept any other answer. Like, unless you tell me like Hickman, I want to see Cates and Capullo on Avengers. That's what I want.
Oh, Capullo.
Cates is in too much legal trouble at the moment. So
well, That's for the
I
Saturday.
heard he
show.
only owned like 1% of it, but we'll see.
Pull this. I think this is
Definitely.
awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, if you want a flavor for what's coming up, even in the MCU, I think that's a definite pull.
Yeah, for sure.
I say pull just because Kang has one of the best costumes in comics history. So anytime I see Kang anywhere, pull it.
There you
That
Pull it for Jed
Lego,
McKay.
that Lego-headed motherfucker.
Oh, do they have a Kang Lego? Like a
Yeah,
Kang
you know they
minifig?
do.
Do they have more? Oh yeah.
So next up is The Nice House on the Lake, book 12. 12 of 12, allegedly. Before I even say the creative team, and this is not to disgrace them or denigrate them, I need to complain because and it has nothing to do with the creative team. So I'm holding in my hands, of course, a physical copy of Nice House on the Lake number 12.
Holding it savagely as well.
That should give you a clue as to what I'm about to talk about. I don't know if this was like a screw you to Tinian or what, but they changed the paper stock from issue to issue. And this doesn't feel good at all to hold. Like I'm used to when I get Nice House, it feels a certain way. And this doesn't feel the way it normally feels. And I feel like even the interior colors are dulled all the way out by this paper stock. And I've complained about this since DC made this change across the board. And people have said to me, even in our comments, oh, what are you talking about? Look at this. Like, I love the book. I think Jordi Valera's colors are phenomenal. They don't look good on the page.
They do look
do you guys
different
see what I'm
digitally,
saying?
that's for sure.
Right? I'm not crazy. They're
No, that's
completely
like
dull.
that's like a bright orange digitally, at least in Comixology's version. Yeah.
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 And
So-
when you held up the cover, it looked like when you accidentally buy shitty wrapping paper, you know.
Oh,
It feels like that. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell the difference from a visual standpoint, me holding up two different DC books.
yeah.
But this one, the Dead Boy Detectives, feels how Nice House used to feel, and it looks how Nice House used to look. Vibrant colors, nice stock. Nice House looks like they printed it on the paper I used to take a shit with when
like
I
a
cleaned
thick-
up.
It's like a thicker cover on the Dead Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got that
Absolutely.
gloss.
Mm.
Damn.
absolutely. That aside, let's talk about the quality and the creative team, which did not diminish. James Tinian, Alvaro Martinez Bueno, Jordi Belair. So this is the end. Oh, and World Design, by the way. This is the end. We all said it. There's no way that this book can resolve in issue 12. No
Too
way.
much going on.
And I think Tinian did an admirable job of closing out these 12 issues. But I fully loved the way that this all played out. I think part of it is because I was sold on this being a certain length. And I was looking forward to and wrap the story, tell the story, and be done with it. The idea that there's going to be more down the road based on the way this is teased, I'm just like, I don't know if I care about the more.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if this issue did enough to make me go, yeah, I need to see what's going to happen after this.
I'm
I was in that.
I'm kind of with you. I kind of
Yeah.
there's an out here in it for it to be like a finale, like
Right.
before you get to like the epilogue or whatever. I kind of wished it would have just ended there. It would have felt like a really good Twilight Zone episode,
Sure.
Yep.
where like you get to you don't it's at the end of the story is here, but this world kind of lives on with the repercussions of what happened. There's like a moral dilemma too. I didn't really care much for it when it was revealed like end of cycle 1 and like there might be more of these houses or whatever out there. I was like, all right.
Or people we can't tell the difference between.
Yeah, that was an interesting that was interesting to help fill the world out, considering we've been living in such a small and very like quarantined space. But for for that to be the end reveal, yeah, I think that you could have just left it there. I don't, because of the length, because of my expectation, and I'm like, oh, cool, this is gonna be a great maxi series. We're gonna have this as a trade. This is a graphic novel, whatever. That's all I wanted, and now I'm not getting that, and I'm disappointed that I'm not getting that because I had this finale set up in my mind, and I was waiting at the edge of my seat for it, and it felt like he kind of half-assed it because there's more now. Now I have to sit through the rest to get the real finale.
I didn't completely understand what was happening. I felt like they were explaining it over and over and over again, and I just couldn't. I had to read issue 11 as well as this, but I just like I couldn't quite grasp what they were trying to put down.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So this issue follows up on the aftermath of issue 11. I'm not going to try to remember the characters' names. I'm sorry. That's just been a huge problem with this series for me.
Mhm.
I think her name's Naya. She was killed. She was shot.
Naya was killed.
Ryan.
No, she
No,
wasn't.
Ryan-
Ryan's the one with the blue hair.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
we bury Naya. Yes, Naya.
So Naya was shot. These characters believed up until this point that they were impervious to harm
Right.
because they were. But
Right.
then the settings were changed from the inside, and now they're not impervious, and that coincided with, Naya being shot. So now she's dead, and these characters are all pissed. And Walter, who is the alien who's been living as a human, is explaining to Nora, I
Nope,
think,
Ryan.
Yes, yep.
Ryan.
The yellow coat is Ryan.
I thought it was Nora.
Nora's
Nora's
the
one at
other
the end with
writer.
glasses.
Nora was inside speaking to Walter, was she not?
No, that was Ryan.
Oh,
It was Ryan. Okay, fine. So Ryan is being told, what is all going on here for real, and we learned that, this is just one of potentially several isolations that are happening within Earth as Walter's alien race destroys the Earth. They want to keep a certain amount of humans alive to be able to learn about the culture and all that stuff as they strip the planet of its culture and data for the future. It reminds me a lot of what happens in Powers of 10 with the Technarchy and the Phalanx and all that stuff. So then Walter's like, hey, if you guys want to kill me, like there's several options. One of them is you can kill me and continue to live here, and my race probably won't even notice that I'm gone for 100 years. And when they do, they might not even care. And that's the option they go with. So they decide to kill Walter. But it turns out that Nora and Walter had a secret agreement where they would both pretend that Walter was dead,
Right.
but he's really not. And Nora will keep that secret because if they believe or know that Walter's not alive, then they'll never be able to stop being obsessed with the idea that he did this to them and yada, yada, yada. If they can't close that chapter, they can't move forward to decide that they want to live and to fight to live.
fade to black. That's what you needed.
I completely agree. I don't think that them encountering an alien species or anything like that is very interesting.
Yeah, I don't care for what would happen after that. Like the results of that feel inconsequential for this story now.
Right. And I love the idea of this as like a Twilight Zone episode, or even like you could say like Black Mirror, some kind of dark sci-fi anthology series like that, where it would just be you'd be left with questions and that's it. And you are not going to know the answers, but that's what makes it live in your brain, kind of. And whereas this is like, but okay, you left us with that cliffhanger, but then it's just going to come back and answer the questions. So whatever.
It's like in like Star Wars, where it went from being this like mystical element to like the science, and you start to explain the science. And I assume they're going to start to explain the aliens and
Yeah.
explain different things. And at that point, you take away the mystery, and that's part of the allure of this book. Was we're going into this blind, we're going into this trying to figure it out alongside. But now that you're going to give us the reasons why, you're going to give us like how it all works, and to some degree the like the controls that they have inside do some of that, but it was contained in context. Now we're just going to get it because, well, Tinian decides we should know about this thing.
Yeah. And I also, I don't know. I also feel like if this had been the real last issue, like let's say Tinian never gets to this, because I was going to ask you guys, I don't know that he's ever going to actually get to this.
I don't know. Either.
Or at least not for some time. But let's say he doesn't.
Mhm.
What the hell was the point of all the buildup of mysteries?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't amount to anything, really. What was revealed through all of their movements and all the weird stuff by the end? Nothing.
I don't know if anything was revealed as much as like, oh, they took control. It was the controlled, the people in the cage, sort of escaping the cage. You know,
I-
it's a
I-
smaller
go ahead, Joe.
story than that, even though it's teased as being this huge story. You know,
Well, and I feel like this was supposed to be like a character piece, but we never were able to figure out who the characters were.
Rename them.
Like we just had a disagreement over 3 different characters who, you know, are all even like those are the characters that are visually different, and we couldn't figure out who they were. So like the like what character was built here, you know?
Walter.
To a degree, Nora, I guess.
Those are the only 2 characters whose names I can 100% tell you and point to who they are.
yeah,
Nora and Walter.
Hmm.
So,
yeah. I mean, it just seems like more of archetypes rather than actual character work.
Yeah.
and that's disappointing because to me the closest comparison is Lost. I've said that several times. When you compare it to Lost, think about how much work everyone did to make those characters memorable and recognizable from the word go. They're archetypes. You have
Yep.
a doctor, a philosopher, a prisoner, all these different things, but by the
Guy in
end,
the hat.
they're not what you initially think them to are at the same time, because the soul of the characters were filled in through the rest of the story. This was simultaneously too long and too short. It's going to continue on, and it's not going to help the problem we just laid out. But if it didn't, then it was too short to make me care about these characters because there was too much plot stuff and mystery stuff going on to really settle in and dig with these people.
Mhm.
And by the way, all that stuff didn't really go anywhere. I would have preferred to learn about these people and cut the cast down in half.
Yeah, because a lot of these don't even become players.
They're not.
Right.
Yeah, they're just there.
Yeah.
Like, one of them dies, and I didn't remember who it was. Like in my head, I'm like, which one was that? Which one was that? And I felt nothing from it.
Yeah,
You know, it wasn't
of-
until the end of the book when they showed all the characters again on like the back page or whatever. I was like, oh, there's a name. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that was a person in the book. Like she was the doctor, the only doctor in this group that has to live together. Like there's stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they could just order some band-aids now.
True, I guess.
Honestly, I was a bit disappointed in the finale, not in the series, because I had fun throughout the experience all the way through, and for that I'm grateful. But if there's another, like, I'm comfortable ending it here for me. I'm probably gonna check out the whenever like number 13 out of like morbid curiosity to see like what it is and what it can do to potentially want to bring me back into this. But if there's a delay and I'm supposed to remember who the fuck these people are,
That's
forget
the
about
thing.
it, dude.
That will be
No way.
that will be the worst thing that they do to this title is put a delay on this.
No way.
Because like the gap we had between, volume 1 and 2 here was awful.
And that's because you read it through volume one. Like you would have had the most context to understand who people's name were because you had that frequent repetition.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want it to seem like, and I'm pretty sure I speak for you guys as well, like we just hated this issue. I didn't hate this issue.
No,
No.
it's well done.
James Tinian's script for what it is, forget the plot and the story, like the script itself is high quality. I really felt for Walter. I really did. And I really believed him when he talked about how much he cared about these people and wanted them to live, and that's why he did this. That they weren't the ones that were supposed to live. They were supposed to die, but his relationship with them kept them alive. And that he desperately wishes he could be a human, but he's not, and he can't be. I connected with all that. And for what it's worth, the character moments in this particular issue are good. They're just hollow because I don't care about anybody. But what he tried to do, I think, was effective.
I wonder how somebody reading this back to back in trade is going to feel, because there was a notable difference, I think, at least within amongst this podcast on like how that experience went. And I wonder if reading it through, it's more enjoyable because it's such a, like, it grabs you and it can keep you along the ride. And I wonder if that will give you that excitement to go into volume 2.
Let's talk about the art. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just quickly, I gotta say, after reading the finale here, I don't know if I want to spend my money on the second trade.
And you were hot on this too when you bought the first trade.
I have at this point I have triple dipped. I got the issues as they came out. I got the first volume digitally, and then I got the physical volume.
Wow, dude.
I don't know if I want to get the the next volume.
Read it on the DC app.
I think Alvaro Martinez Bueno really has done an incredible job throughout. And Jordi Belair, they both deserve a lot of credit for how good this book has been from start to finish. I don't think they slacked in this last issue. They're certainly not the issue here, or at least not my issue. I'm like I said, unfortunately for me, the colors are pretty dulled out, and that takes away from the art to some degree, but that's not a fault of the creators. I think the work that they did here is awesome. I love the part where whenever we get to see Walter like breaking down or he gets harmed or anything like that, and when he kind of like morphs, and we don't even know if that's what he looks like as an alien or like what that's supposed to be or mean, but it's so creepy, and unsettling.
I don't know if it was in this issue or 11, but there's one where he's it might have been in 11 where he's threatening Nora. He's like, I could kill you right now, and she's like, well, do it. And he turns into this hurricane and just like blows up everything in the room. That was incredible.
What did you guys take this panel to mean? The panel that shows the area of the nice house on the lake where the people live, and then all around that being just literally black.
I picked it to be as like this is him in whatever alien spaceship he's in, and this is like his way of viewing it from a top-down perspective. There was that drop that Reg mentioned in this. He's like, I'm not even sure if we're even on Earth anymore.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a curious thing to throw in there.
I took it as like this is just the space that they're isolated in, and they probably have more of these like on Earth, and they're just not showing the outside because the outside's just blown up or destroyed or whatever. So I figured this is just, we're gonna showcase this. This is how you can visualize the enclosure.
Okay.
You know what? I was at a point with this where I was just so unclear of what was happening. Nora says her last thing, I remember a lot of things, but nothing that could make a difference. And it zoomed out. And I was like, okay, now tell me something that will help me make sense of this. That I just completely skipped over that panel.
I mean, pull it if you've been on the hook. You need the resolution, of course. Would I recommend this as a deluxe edition or people to go out and buy the trades who've not been on this? Just listen to our reviews. It's tough. It's tough now because I really enjoyed what I read. I did.
Mm.
But I'm not sure. I hate saying things like this, and I know Tyler's going to get on me, but I'm not sure what the point was.
No.
I'm not sure what the point was. I didn't get such a tremendous experience and story from this that I'm like, wow, yeah, this last issue validated it all. I think
Yeah.
mysteries are reliant on how strong things resolve. And for me, this didn't resolve that strong.
Yeah, the experience of reading the issues back to back in the collection, like we said, was incredible. But I don't think it's gonna be satisfying in the second one.
I think even at risk of that, I would probably say pick it up because you're going to enjoy the story up until that point. And while it doesn't necessarily like land in the best way, I think it does what it can with the prospect of a future and with Tinian trying to tease that out. I think it's still worth it. Yeah, similar to Sean, like pull this if you've been reading, but honestly, probably trade weight. Maybe that story comes through better in a collected format.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about Dead Boy Detectives #1. So out with the old and with the new here. I thought the Sandman universe was done.
Same.
I guess not.
I think Nightmare
But,
Comics is still happening too.
Yeah, the nightmare stuff is still happening.
Porn Sack Pichishoti.
Pishodi?
Shody?
Jeff Stokely on art, Mikel Muerto on colors, and Hassan Atsman El How on letters. I don't understand how El How is on so many books.
Yo, right?
Like him, Clayton Cowles, I don't get it.
And he's a good ass Twitter follow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially if you're in a process, man.
Mhm.
Once I saw that little kid talking and all of his text was like expanding throughout the bubble, like you couldn't even see all of his
Yeah.
text. I'm like, this is a Hassan book, isn't it? And then I looked and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
When you see like standard comics lettering that's done by, there's a lot of talented people who do it, but when you see when you see that and then you juxtapose it with this, right? And you see that not only is this, this is the first page, not only is this awesome and cool and dynamic, but as you go on, there's a lot of, or not, sorry, that wasn't the first page, but there's a lot of awesome and cool text balloons and things like that all throughout. It's so interesting and dynamic and helps to tell the story beyond just being a way to read it. And that's not easy to do, I'm sure.
I really enjoyed the art. Stokely is I'm a fan of his stuff. He does a lot of just like interesting designs. He was on
I remember
Alien.
Six Gun Gorilla, Colin Bunn's Six Gun Gorilla.
Okay, yeah. I think I know him from some of his like from The Spire with Cy Spurrier. I'm
him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Ludocrats as well recently. He does good stuff. I'm interested in his design work, and I think he carried a lot of this because some of the story for me was fine. It was a bit dull.
I
didn't care
I thought
for
this
this.
would be such a you book.
Yeah.
Me too.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I thought it was goofy fun. Nothing super fancy. It's funny. I'm getting caught up on my back issues, and I just read Pornsack's silver coin issue, which was
Oh,
phenomenal.
very good. Yeah.
Which one was that?
The COVID one.
Oh, I don't know if I've read that one.
But and then I went right into this. I thought it was fun. For me, I think I'm the same with you, Marco, where it was more of a visual treat for me. I really like the cartooniness of Jeff Stokely. And seeing the way he depicts all these different ghosts and these Thai ghosts. Is Pornsack Thai?
I don't know. He is
I believe
Asian
so.
Pacific.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
Thai American director and former comic book editor. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't care for this. It's too harsh. It's there's nothing wrong with this. I did enjoy the art quite a bit actually. Not that this is the style of art that I would traditionally enjoy, but there was a vibrancy to it that I liked, and it managed to be creepy and kind of cute, which is a fun dichotomy. But the story, I just didn't get too much out of it. I don't know if I was missing any context. I don't know if these are all new characters and ideas. But I don't know. Like it was all right, but I like what was the bookend here? The woman who's like chained up or whatever. Like what was that? Did that make sense to anyone?
I think that's a new character. Because Dead Boy Detectives are from like the 90s.
Okay.
The Vertigo stuff, Sandman and related books. So at least from what I've read of it, it looks like a new character. But they themselves have been around for a bit.
The work here is very competent. It's just not my style from a writing standpoint. The art I liked a lot, but this is not a book that I could see myself like falling in love with.
So apparently Thessaly, the witch, is a Sandman character.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there was also a Sandman Presents Thessaly Witch for Hire back in 2004. So game and creation here. I guess there's our Sandman connection. I think the Dead Boy Detectives show up in Sandman too, if I'm right about that.
Like an issue, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're. Yeah, I have not finished Sandman, so I haven't gotten to it. Yeah, they were Sandman Presents. There was a whole Sandman Presents Dead Boy Detectives. Okay, yeah, they were in Swamp Thing apparently too, but.
Yeah, it was a crossover, like some sort of Vertigo event. All the
Yeah,
Vertigo books.
I have no, I guess, skin in the game when it comes to these characters. Like, it's not something I've read before or I've gone to. Yeah, Dan says Thessaly is prominent in later Sandman stories. Like, yeah, I didn't know that reading this. For me, it was just like, oh, there's this witch. She's gonna do something. That's fine. I thought the book ending of that weird organ ghost thing, I thought that was a little more exciting. Like if that had been the true bookend.
Yeah. The Krasu, there's a tremendous Thai horror film that's just, it's gore. It's straight up. Oh, it's so good. It is based on this ghost.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a woman during the day, but then literally her head comes off and her spine comes out, and it goes around and like kills people at night. So good.
I like that.
It's so good. This to me felt like the actual, like, the Scooby-Doo mysteries that are like real. You know, not the shitty ones that are like, oh, it's Mr. Johnson in the mask, baby. Like Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
I love that movie.
Yeah. The fun ones.
Cyber Chase?
No, the fun ones.
Oh.
I like this idea of, you know, just these kids who are ghosts, and they have their little rules, and they have a mystery, but the mystery is also horror. And it's not only horror, it's Thai horror, and it's something different from what we normally see, you know. To me, that puts a different spin on it. that made it more fun to read, especially with the ghost doctor and the different little types of ghosts that they all the kids are. I thought it was really fun.
It's an interesting spin. It reminded me of the conversation we had with Ram, where it's just like,
Yeah.
these are the Western ghosts, and it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
call them out.
yeah,
These are the only ideas you could think of. We have like 100. But
yeah. There's a line that I thought as soon as I read it, I thought exactly of that.
yeah, and it's fun. It feels a little more mystical, which plays into the characters and plays into sort of the idea here. I think there's potential here. I just wasn't like immediately thrilled. I'd probably come back for the art, but I need to be sold a bit more on the actual like narrative.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, fair.
I'll pull. I'll keep going.
I think I'm in for an issue 2 at least so far.
Yeah, yeah, and been talking with Dan in the chat, but I think you need like an English, like British writer on this kind of thing, because they're gonna bring in some of that cheeky humor. For me, the like something like a Cy Spurrier or Kieran Gillen probably fit well into this kind of world. I feel like they've lived in something thematic, similarly thematic to this. So
Well, Pornsack is telling a story that's specific to
for sure,
know,
for sure.
his culture and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, Dan describes it as it should feel like the Hardy Boys from a more adult horror perspective. I felt that.
Mm.
So
So I was looking up Pornsack's credits, and he was a Vertigo editor back during the time of like Sweet Tooth and Sea Guy and We Three and Unwritten. Interesting.
Whoa.
Swamp Thing as well.
Huh.
Yep. And then he did what was the horror book he did?
Infidel.
Infidel was
Thank you.
fantastic, man.
So
And
Aaron
that-
Campbell.
Infidel is one of my favorite books. And that is what took him to the next level. And then of course The Good Asian. So he's super talented. This just wasn't my bag. But I've historically liked what Pornsack does. You guys like Action Comics.
I thought it was fine.
Well, not
like
you
Action.
guys.
Oh,
I do.
Well, you do, okay. The listeners, though, you guys really like Action Comics because every time that Action Comics has been in the poll or that we've had the ability to vote and it was out that week, you guys have chosen it. This is the third time in a row that we're reading Action Comics because of the listeners. So this is 1050. This is by a whole host of creators. The list of creators that are, a lot of them are variant covers, but we've got Philip Kennedy Johnson, Tom Taylor, and Joshua Williamson credited for writing. Art by Mike Perkins, Clayton Henry, Nick Dragotta. Colors by Frank Martin. Letters by Dave Sharp. And then, of course, take your pick on the variants. I love this comic book. I never thought that a Superman ongoing would be one of my favorite books of the year. This just knocks me off my feet every single time. I love it.
Did you read the last issue?
I did not. I'm behind.
It's good. I've kept up. It's been a fun time. Superman feels like, I swear to you, like an anime protagonist that they go off of their will. They go, dude. I read the last issue.
That feels offensive to me.
No, I swear to you, I read the last issue. I went into this. I'm like, he's just an anime protagonist. Yeah, he can fight. Yeah, he can throw down. But he's gonna talk to you first about your feelings, about my feelings, and then if we still need to duke it out, fine, we'll throw hands. But otherwise, if I don't need to resolve it that way, we don't have to.
Are you saying
good.
he's like the original shonen, and that's why it's
it
gone
feels
backwards, and like My Hero Academia is a play on American shonen?
It's good.
I hate that I said those words.
So this is what is kind of being used as a lead-in to the new status quo for Superman in 2023. Lex has, done some crap, some tech crap to make everyone forget that Clark Kent is Superman and that John Kent is Superman as well. Um, and who cares how like he uses Manchester Black, who is a character that I literally just learned about this year,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and kills him to get this machine to do what Lex wants it to do. The reason why he does this, I actually felt was like so insanely flimsy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That rubbed me the wrong way. He does it because he does the fact that people think that Clark and John are human.
I liked it.
Yeah, like that just screams editorial needs a reason why
Yeah.
Superman he should have a secret identity again. So let's just figure out why. It
I
felt
l-
lazy.
I like the idea of his identity going back in the bottle being sort of against his will. Uh, but it could have used more time in the oven.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it because the whole thing is like Lex is like, I'm gonna work with Superman. I'm gonna make sure I know the world needs him. But because he's Lex, it can never be a truly altruistic thing. There's always got to be a negative side to it. It's like, I want you to protect humanity, but you're not human, and I'm making sure they know you're not human.
But I guess the thing for me is just like, he shows off this Superman super armor or whatever, and it doesn't like Lex is smart enough to know that this isn't gonna play.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a bit of
like-
hubris, though. It was like, yeah, Lex is always smart, but he's never smart enough to not get in his own way. He's like, oh, I got all this War World stuff now. I know you had trouble with that.
No,
I'm good.
All
I
that is
don't-
fine.
Yeah.
But what Kale is talking about is the costume. Like, okay, you psychically imprinted that people don't know who who the Supermen are. Fine,
Tremendous.
but in what world would Clark ever put the costume on? Like,
Hmm.
like Lex knows that would never happen. So why even bother going through that part? Like,
Yeah.
that's just not what is
Fair.
going to happen here.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in this page, Lex says, "I'll give them the best version of Superman possible, my Superman." And it's like I'm supposed to believe that Superman is gonna go, "Oh yeah, what a great idea."
Do you
And he doesn't even like preface that with a threat, right? Like he just like there's nothing about what he's saying that Superman just has to bow down and get with. Like he's just like, all right, yeah, you're gonna put this suit on now because I'm Lex, and that's just what it is.
What'd you think of
That's
the
not-
Nick Dragotta art in that particular
Ooh,
sequence?
okay,
I
I'm glad
dug
we're
it.
here. Don't
I
like
dug
that.
it. No,
I
come
don't
on.
like it
Loved
one
it.
bit.
Either.
What?
No.
It looks so interesting.
I mean, it's
I-
literally anime Superman that Marco was
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's.
It felt like anime Superman.
I
I'm
don't
like,
like
I'm
it.
here for it.
It's.
I
I think
don't
the
like it
art is
one bit.
interesting in this. I don't. It's not a knock saying interesting. Dragotta and I would even say Mike Perkins are not Superman artists.
No, Mike
Traditionally, no.
Perkins in particular, I've had issue with.
Is Perkins in the front part?
He's in
Yes,
the.
I believe so. Right?
The
Bookends.
specifically the Batman in Superman scene.
Ooh,
Um,
hated that.
What?
Yeah, it's super realistic. It's like, oh, this is Henry Cavill.
Yo,
But-
it really was. Yeah.
But
Oh,
like,
it wasn't even that. I just thought it was such a drastic shift that it was
was.
just like,
was.
man,
It's
it was not fun.
he's consistently because he's doing both the inks and the pencils, which I don't think he did for Swamp Thing. Let me fact check that. But for this, it's just very heavy inks, and there are moments when you have just Lex and you just had Metallo in the previous issue or even in this, where that works. That fits because that's his vibe, that's his style. He has that down. But when you're trying to draw Superman with these just shadows on his body. He doesn't feel like he's like shiny. He's not bright. That feels very dissonant.
You sure that wasn't Clayton Henry?
No, Clayton Henry's like the comic the he looks like a would be Marvel artist kind of thing. Not the
Yeah.
Dragoda stuff. It's right in
Well, it
between.
doesn't make that, what?
Yeah, he's the more clean
Yeah, I'm not-
traditional artist.
I'm not
Clayton.
sure. what
Yeah.
that meant. Let's hit some of the comments right fast. Roboters asked, they asked, would you say this fits, or should I say earns what Sandman is known for? That's in reference to the Sandman
Dead boy
book.
detectives. Yeah.
I could see it. I could see it. I don't think we're far enough into the Dead Boy Detectives this particular story to really say for sure, but I think the focus on the horror in this in that issue serves it.
Yeah.
Roboters also says Philip Kennedy Johnson has been really good on action Superman. The entire line looks to really bring Superman back to the forefront. Yes, I completely agree. And then Flo Dameron from last week says, "Is people to forget not the most unbelievable thing." I don't say it's unbelievable that Lex's plan worked. I just say it's lazy that is the solution to Superman's identity that the writers and editorial came up with.
It's literally the same way Matt Murdock got everyone to forget about him. They found a telepath, they hooked him up to a machine, and wiped the earth with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, how often have we not seen that?
And then when the person's told that, Matt Murdock's Daredevil, their brain gets a little fucky. So
Yo, that was messed up, man. When
Perry?
Perry like had a heart attack and
Yeah.
stuff, that was like, oh no. And I almost wish that was the threat. I wish that
Yeah,
Luthor had been
yeah.
like, look, if you don't bow down, I'll just make an announcement. I'll just let everybody know, and then everyone on Earth will die. Like now he has Superman by the short hairs because that's not something that Superman can stop.
does
But they didn't-
Superman have short hairs?
Yeah, of course. He's got long hairs.
Fair.
Yeah.
He's got to be a little more careful with that heat vision when he shaves, but
True.
But
Doesn't he
did you guys read it as after the reveal? It looks like he's still gonna go and reveal himself to the public anyway.
No.
How could he? They'll die. He saw what happened to Perry. Not that Perry died, but like
That whole scene with him and Batman explains it. Like Batman's like, no, this is better off. Stay this way.
which that explanation. I loved this comic, so I feel bad that I'm like.
I loved it too.
harping
This is
on
my
certain
pick of the
things.
week. I'm saying that outright. Yeah.
Yeah, this is mine as well.
Yo, that conversation, I really wanted to just skip past it because I couldn't believe what the hell they were talking. Batman's like, yeah, hey, this is better because now Lois Lane, she'll get the recognition that she deserves. And Superman's like, you know what? You're right.
That
Okay.
That's where I felt the editorial in it. It was like, oh, we diminished Lois Lane as a character by making Clark Kent, Superman, known to everyone. Let's fix that.
like that
And it
hasn't
cuts
been
to, like,
90
oh, man,
years
I
of
don't know how-
Superman.
And then when it cuts to like Superman being like, oh, I don't know how my son's gonna feel about this. He goes to get a coffee, and the barista spells his name wrong, and he's like, hell yeah, no one knows who I am. I thought that was a good little beat.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there are better ways to accomplish what they were trying to, but despite that, everything that I love about the Superman run of late is here. Joshua
Yeah.
Williamson is no slouch. I like his voice for these characters, and I do think that him coming on board is a positive thing. Philip Kennedy Johnson, the fact that he'll still be here on these books and driving the ship, I love that too.
Mhm.
I think that the future of Superman is in good hands. It is, and I'm happy. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
and we'll get a
Please
little-
get more of this. Just more of wholesome anime protagonist Superman.
And we'll get a little more traditional art too for Superman with Jamal Campbell.
Right.
Ooh, yes,
That-
please.
That's a big get.
Would you say this is something Lex will hold Superman's feet over the fire later on down the line? Again, I feel like that this would have been the issue for him to go, you know what I have now that could end all life on Earth.
Yeah,
You know.
and I think they dropped the ball on that.
Also, just out of curiosity, like, what are the long term? I know this is a dumb like comic fan question, but like, what are the long term implications of something like this? Like, what happens to the kids that are not yet alive, who will be born, go on the internet and see all the videos of
You're thinking too much.
Superman? What did I just say, Tyler?
Yeah.
What did I just right now say?
They can't. They won't recognize him.
And it's not like they'll know who Clark Kent is anyway.
Yeah, there's enough fake news on the internet anyway. You can just push whatever.
It's a meme.
I love this. I love this comic. Absolutely pull it for sure.
Yeah. Well, super. We're in I can't believe it, but we're in an era with tremendous Superman comics. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about
completely
the little tease at the end for the other Action Comics story with what's the Black Superman's name? Oh boy,
Isn't it President Superman?
Obama.
Calvin
Oh, yeah,
Ellis.
Obama Superman.
It's Calvin Ellis. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love comics, so.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Not enough context, not enough data, just, good art.
I probably won't go out of my way for it until
I
I hear
haven't-
it's good, but
Yeah, exactly. I haven't looked for John Kent too much in his individual books, so I probably won't going forward.
Did you guys see the promo in the back for the Lazarus Planet? Monkey Prince is like in two of their issues are part of the event. Trying to make
Yeah, I thought that was pretty.
that a thing.
When they made the announcement of that, I was like, oh, Monkey Prince is on the
Yeah.
promotional art. Okay, all right.
Interesting.
Gotta get your characters over somehow, some way.
Tie him to Batman. That always works.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is it for our reviews this week. But the show's not over because we still want to let you guys know the books that we're looking forward to next week. These are the books that we're most forward to in the next year. January.
Wow.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. 2023. So Tyler, why don't you take it away?
Yeah. So Sean wanted to check out X-Men Red number 10, I believe. Am I right on that?
Yeah. Yep. I believe it is.
Yes.
X-Men Red has been so good. This year,
It is.
I fell in love with Al Ewing as a creator all over again. Venom is phenomenal. We Only Find Them When They're Dead is phenomenal. And X-Men Red has just not missed a beat. In some ways, it's been better than Immortal. So I just can't wait to see where the story goes next. I'm loving it.
Good old Dick Ryder joins the team on this one too. So
Yeah, his inclusion, I'm interested in how that's all going to play out.
and then three of us picked this next one.
What?
Scarlet Witch number 1.
Oh.
I want to hear what your reasonings are.
Oh, my reason's easy. Russell Dodderman covers. Like I'm very simple when it comes to that.
Or was he not doing interiors?
I don't believe
Oh.
he's doing interiors. Am I wrong on that? looking it up right now.
I'm not sure.
I forgot I picked it.
Oh, it's Sarah Pacelli on interiors. That's why. It's
There
Sarah
you go.
Pacelli
Oh,
interiors. too.
nice.
Yeah.
That's hype.
Sarah Pacelli on interiors. I remember being excited about that, but also the premise actually kind of has me. She's running a mystical bookshop or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a different little adventure every issue. All right.
Marvel's on you.
I'll give that a
That's
try.
Exactly what it is.
I want to read this and I'm excited for this for one. Well, I was going to say one reason, but I guess technically two. Darcy Lewis is going to be a new ongoing character in the comics. I'm very hyped. She will be
Cool.
making her debut in Scarlet Witch.
And I see what
Wait,
you mean
who
by
is?
technically too. Got it.
Darcy Lewis. Yep.
Oh, that's
Kat
right.
Dennings.
Cat
Um,
Dennings.
Honest question. Does Steve Orlando writing do anything for you guys?
Oh, that's why I didn't pick it.
No.
Yeah.
I swear, if I see a fucking monster within the first 2 issues, I'm out.
You will.
You're gonna.
Kaiju, a
Yeah.
big old
Yeah.
kaiju.
It's gonna be the first thing,
Obligatory.
guaranteed.
Marco, your number one fan is in the chat. Derpy50 first says there. I'm cry. There's an actual background for my boy. Nice posters. Woo.
Oh,
Courtney Barnett
thank you.
too. Good choice.
Courtney Barnett. Oh, dude, great show.
That's a good poster.
I'm so happy that Marco being accosted in chat for
No,
having
dude.
a bland at. Don't tell me no. That's literally what's been happening. On
I
the show.
moved desk. Remember I was facing this way?
Marco, you have been accosted for not having a nice background, and you now put up art behind you.
I'm on break. I finally have time. I cleaned up my apartment.
That's big.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
that's your reasoning.
Character growth.
I'm sticking to one got in your head, and you said,
Alright.
you know what? I have to put something back there because this curtain ain't cutting it.
All right.
Well, I want to pick up Fantastic Four #3. I'm liking this run so far. Insane Alex Ross covers. Give me more of this. I think it's a lot of fun. And I love the Fantastic Four. So, like, anytime I can have actual good Fantastic Four comics, I'm going to take it. And this one's been being written by Ryan North with art by Iban Coelho. So, Marco, Dark Knights of Steel #9.
Tom Taylor. Dan Moore is going to be doing cover art for this one, and the artist Yasmin Putri has been crushing it. This book is just fun. It's absolutely just fun. It's Game of Thrones, but within the DC universe, and twists and turns. People die. I'm absolute blast. So please give me more of this. Please continue this because I don't want this to end.
Yeah, it's good. And you also wanted to check out Joe Fixit #1.
Yeah. So okay. Long-time listeners will know that I was on another podcast years ago. It was a Swamp Thing specific podcast, and then before that, another review one. With my co-host at the time was a huge Hulk fan, continues to be so, and so anytime there is a Hulk book, I'll at least pick up #1. But Joe Fixit was his favorite. He said it is by far the best Peter David stuff. It is the best Hulk stuff. And if I ever get the chance to pick it up, well, this is Joe Fixit #1, a new series by Peter David with art from Cully Hammer, or at least doing the cover stuff. And then Yildiray Sinar, I'm not familiar with, but just based off the cover, some of the interior art that we got, I'm into it. I'm going to pick it up.
Looks kind of fun. Yeah.
It's goofy.
And Cal wants to check out Usagi Yojimbo Origins Volume 4.
It
For
wouldn't
the
be
first
the
time in
beginning.
full color.
Son of a bitch.
What?
Stole his thunder.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
did
well,
I?
You gotta,
I was just reading
you
the
gotta
cover.
expect that with Tyler. That's just what
I was
Tyler does. Go ahead,
confused.
Gail.
Now I don't know if he froze.
Oh, I think he froze. I think
Ah!
he froze.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
You're
that's
back.
okay. That's what he's
You're back.
reacting to. You good?
I don't think
no.
he can. Yeah, he can't hear us.
Can't hear us.
So what's the book? What is the?
It's Usagi,
Usagi
Yojimbo Origins
in
Volume
color.
All
4.
right, I got it. So, what more can I say about Usagi Yojimbo? I've mentioned this, countless times on the show. It's just amazing. It's by Stan Sakai, who I love, and it features a rabbit with a sword. So, what more could you ask for?
Nothing.
Thanks,
Was
Cal.
that? Was that? Yeah,
was good.
you're welcome.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. That was good. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Got it.
Cal just looks either. You guys can see the
He-
frozen
he-
video of Cal. Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
This sucks shit, bro.
I thought I
Like-
pissed you off, and you froze in the most angry looking face ever.
It's nuts. It's fine all week. I've been streaming on shit all day. What the fuck is going on?
How dare you try to podcast?
It's ridiculous. Usagi Yojimbo, Lone Goat and Kid. It's a tremendous story. It's a riff on Lone Wolf and Cub.
Oh,
It's very good. It's very, very good. And the collection, that's just a two-part story, I think. But it within this volume, but it's the lone goat and kid kind of travel through the story. It's very good. Another one that I highly recommend.
damn, kill me. You might have sold me on that one.
And this is the new color editions that Stan Sakai is doing as well. So
I didn't even know they were originally in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
The only stuff I read is more recent, and it's always been in color. So, yeah, those are our polls.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you. Make sure you come hang out with us on Saturday, live on Twitch and YouTube at 10:15 a.m. Eastern, because we are going to be doing our prediction show and the 2022 Pallies. It's going to be a blast. You don't want to miss finding out who won the 2022 predictions. I think that's going to be blast. And we're going to lay out our predictions for 2023, which will very likely include a question relevant to this podcast, which is, will Fantastic Four's delay be undone?
Oh,
So stay tuned for that. I guarantee you there's going to be some arguing. There's going to be some drama, but it's going to be fun. Come hang out with us on Saturday. Watch this show live Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hang out with us as we review comics. If you enjoy hearing us do that, we do it every single week, so don't miss out. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/thecomicspals. We appreciate everybody who's on there. And if you are curious about what we do on there, go give it a look. There's a lot of cool stuff there, including an exclusive show called Palling Around, which we put out a free episode of for the month of December as a Christmas gift. Best non-comics of 2022. So everything we liked from 2022 that's not a comic book. Our next book club is House and Powers of X. Check that out January 3rd. Guarantee you're going to like that. If you are into that story or you are looking to find your into the X-Men, that is the best place to do it. And listening to us break it down is the best way for you to be introduced. So stay tuned for that. For everything else, at the Comics Pals, all over the place. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. Until Saturday, take care, guys. And Dan, I never give up hope. That's my superpower.
see you on Saturday.